guys. Today we are going to discuss about a very important topic. This is a topic that nobody else is asking. This is a question that nobody else is putting forward. And this question is there a liability on the part of the officials, military officials of the Duterte government in the crash of the C-130 that killed 49 soldiers and 3 civilians? In short, my question is the Sulu crash 49 President Duterte's SAF 44? Is the Sulu crash that killed 49 people, will it go down in history as similar to SAF 44 in the time of former President Aquino? So my question is, down the line, in the future, will people blame President Duterte for the Sulu crash 49 or the C-130 49? So this is a question that needs to be asked, and this is a question that needs to be answered. And so join me as I delve into the issues while we are pending investigation on the matter. I will try to flesh out whatever are the available facts to pinpoint responsibility wherever it may lead. But before we proceed, please subscribe to the Blogcaster Armandin YouTube channel. Please like and share my channel, because in this channel we are going to ask the questions that nobody else are asking, and we will investigate issues that are too hard or too uncomfortable for people to investigate. So before we proceed, please allow me to reframe my question. I have drawn comparison between SAF 44 and the Sulu crash 49 because both incidents are very shocking and both could have been avoided. Things could have been done differently that could have stopped the shedding of lives, this many lives, 44 in the time of President Aquino and now 49 in the time of President Duterte. We can say that these are useless deaths, and who are responsible for them? So, let's go back to history. If you must remember, many Filipinos got angry, me included, and I criticized President Aquino for this. And I'm pointing to the Mamasapano Massacre, where 44 special action police forces were killed in January 25, 2015 during a bloody operation to liquidate Malaysian bomb expert Zulkifli Abdir and other high-profile Malaysian terrorists who were responsible for the bomb attacks, series of and deadly bomb attacks in the country. Although the mission was accomplished, but the whole operation was criticized and investigated by Congress and the Senate because it was loaded with mystery, and even the official who carried it out was dismissed. Former PNP Director General Alan Purisima and U.S. forces or U.S. contractors. So what made the people very angry, what enraged the people, was the big number of casualties and the lack of coordination between police and military officials that could have lessen the number of deaths. And so now comes the crash of the C-130H Hercules plane last Sunday in Patikul Sulu, killing 49 soldiers and 3 civilians, and seriously wounding 51 soldiers and civilians. The plane landed or missed landing and then burst into flame when it crashed into a community of people from Sulu carrying 96 people. The military described it as the worst military disaster in history. But did it have to happen? Airplane experts or aviation experts are now saying that although it was built in 1988, the C-130, which arrived here on January 30, were relatively new in the military term. New in the fact it was not laying somewhere unused. It was still used by American forces right to the months before it was refurbished or it was fully repaired and given new parts. In short, the military calls it hot transfer because it was still being used by U.S. Air Force and Marines. So, it was a grant for 1.6 billion, and it was almost free because the 1.6 billion involved only the putting up of new parts to suit the tropical climate here in the Philippines. Actually, the Philippines has 5 C-130s, 2 are under repair, 1 is still to be delivered, and 2 in flying condition in the Philippines. But this early, military sources I talked to and news reports point to the fact that there could have been a maintenance issue or a training issue. But many point to the landing gear issue. So there was a problem with the landing gear. That's why the pilot eventually decided to try to again gain air momentum and climb up and again try to land. But he lost power and then therefore he crashed on the village of people from Sulu. Other aviation experts point to the short runway of 1,300 long meters runway with ridges and hills at the end. The question is why was it not repaired? Why was it not improved upon since it was built in the 1940s? So you see, right now they're already saying that the plane, there's no problem with the plane. It was not a flying coffin, but the airport or maintenance could be the problem. Other aviation experts say that the 2 C-130s in flying condition were overused because they were used as workhorses for everything: COVID supply, calamity response, military transfer of troops and military hardware, respond to earthquakes, typhoon, volcanic eruption, and they were even sent to the West Philippine Sea. So you can see that they have been given or driven to full capacity use, to full 110% use, and they were not given time to be maintained. So the question is, how come? Right now we say it is well known that our government has 11 trillion in debt or borrowed funds. Why could it not provide better to buy airplanes, to improve the airport in Sulu? Why? And if you say there's no money for that, but again, our president just bought last year an executive class or business class jet worth almost 2 billion. So, if he really loves the military, why can't he buy not a refurbished aircraft or similar to the C-1, go to a similar arrangement with the C-130 arrangement with the Americans? And why was it not done? And to drive the point that neglect or maintenance or overuse problem could really be the reason for this, is that there is now a pattern of crashes, and I'll give you a blow of it. A recent inquiry report, in fact, just this week, showed that there have been 5 crashes already just this year for the police and the military. In January 16, a UH-1H helicopter crashed in Bukidnon, killing 7. In April 27, an MD-520MG attack helicopter crashed in Bohol, killing 1. In June 23, a S-70I Black Hawk helicopter crashed in Capas, Tarlac, killing 6. And recently, July 4, the Hercules. And they're even saying the Black Hawk was not new. It was not a used helicopter like the UE. It was new, but then how come did it crash? And how come just this year there have been 4 crashes already? So you can see this is too much for this is, the year is not yet over, but we already have 4. So there is a real pattern of neglect. The equipment may be good, but maintenance was clearly bad. So why did they, and the biggest question is, where is China? Where is China, the friend of our President Duterte? You see, these planes were brought to us by the US. Other aircraft were given to us as grant by the European Union countries. So, and yet these are the countries whose leaders President Duterte hit. And yet these are the countries that were able to give us military planes, helicopters, sea crafts. And why none from China? Our best friend, or the President's best friend. Duterte, our President, once said, and I quote, "I need China more than anybody else at this time of our national life. I just simply love Xi Jinping." And in another foreign occasion, he said, "Anyway, I simply love Xi Jinping. He understands my problem, and is willing to help. And I'd like to say, thank you, China." Where is the help? Where is the love, Mr. President? Some aviation experts are now saying that the C-130 that crash was overused because we have been hit by volcanic eruptions, by typhoons, earthquakes, and in the past, friendly countries like the US, European Union countries, Britain, they sent planes, they sent doctors, they sent calamity experts to help us. Now they don't send that anymore. And maybe this is because of the insults by our president to them, or maybe they don't like our president to be too close to China, and they are currently militarily posturing, not at war, but they are posturing the readiness to go to war with China. So we are left alone. We are left alone, and China is nowhere to be found. It has not given us military hardware the magnitude that the US has given us, or the European Union countries have given us. And even the projects promised to President Duterte, many of it are only on paper, and the president's term is about to be finished. So, after President Duterte will have left his office in June, I think people will still start talking about this. Right now, nobody is talking about this. Nobody is putting the blame on the president. But in history, I foresee the possibility that people will really say that somehow his officials are responsible for this, as shown by the pattern of accidents, because these are useless deaths. And just like the Mamasapano Massacre, it could have been avoided. At least in Mamasapano, or in the SAF 44 encounter, we killed 2 Jemaah Islamiyah affiliated improvised explosive device experts in the person of Zulkifli Abdir and Abdul Basit Usman, who were wanted for all the bombings done in the country. And the SAF also claimed to have killed 18 to 200 Malaysian rebels and MILF and Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters rebels. So at least they died with their boots on. They died fighting, and they dragged to the dead these 2 bombers so that they will not bomb us again. And also these MILF and BIFF fighters, so that they have reduced the number of enemies for the government. But what about the C-130, the C-130-49? What have their deaths accomplished? What have we gone from? What have they contributed to the country for their deaths? They were newly trained, and to many that was their first time to go to Sulu. Many are still in their late teens. So it really is a far useless death. The C-130-49 has little legacy or contribution to the country compared to the SAF 44. So this is a comparison that I cannot escape analyzing, because it's so it's so useless. It's so I have no words to describe anymore, and I'm really sad for the soldiers. Even their families would have been happier if they killed like 30, 40, 50 rebels like the SAF 44 soldiers. So I end my video here with the appeal that the investigator should not, to please Malacanang, to please their military leaders, should leave no stones unturned, should not whitewash the investigation, and should really get to the bottom of this. Because if they do not, then more soldiers' lives will be killed in poorly maintained military hardware and aircraft. So I end here. Again, please subscribe to the Blackcaster Armandin YouTube channel, and please tell me whether you agree with my discussion today or not, and please tell it to me. Tell it to the public. Tell it to my other followers through the comment section. So again, thank you very much for watching and see you in my next vlog.